If you appreciate eternal love and sacrifice, you will love the story of Riverwind the Plainsman. Welcome to another DragonLance Saga episode. My name is Adam, and today we're going to talk about Riverwind. I'm referencing the Chronicles and DragonLance modules primarily for this information, but some of this episode is informed from the preludes and various short stories as well. If I leave anything out or misspeak, please leave a comment below. Riverwind and Goldmoon were planned to be the original heroes of Chronicles according to Tracy Hickman, but since their love story ended in Dragons of Autumn Twilight with their marriage, the authors moved to focus on other characters. This sets us up for the truth behind the couple's story and the genuine strife they were going to be facing. We know that they ended the first novel with marriage because TSR didn't have any faith in the novel doing well critically and wanted to have a happy ending if the planned trilogy ended up being a one-off. So we were set up for the true challenge the two faced, and though I will be writing an episode solely about Goldmoon, it is difficult to separate them, as we're introduced to them together, and they don't separate until the fifth age after that initial introduction. This is all to say that I may cover some of what follows again. Riverwind grew up in a family that strongly believed in the old gods, in a time when few did. Regionally, it could mean being ostracized or even murdered to believe openly, and it was the former that Riverwind's father suffered. He was banished from the Qué-Shu tribe as the tribal elders had practiced the act of worshipping their chieftains past and present as gods since the cataclysm. This firmly placed Riverwind in the lowest caste of his tribe. He became a shepherd and spent his youth in the wilderness. He grew up into an accomplished far hunter for his tribe, accepted only because of his survival and hunting skills. Upon laying eyes on Goldmoon for the first time, Riverwind claims to have instantly fallen in love. Having married my own high school sweetheart more than 20 years ago, I believe I understand exactly what he means. But growing up in a tribal society is much more challenging, especially if you're at the bottom of the social ladder. Goldmoon, the chieftain's daughter, was seen and treated as a goddess by her tribe, and was betrothed to the son of the village shaman. Now, the Qué-Shu tribe has a law that allows a would-be suitor to undergo a quest to prove their worthiness in usurping the arranged marriage, and that is exactly what Riverwind invoked. The downside was that Goldmoon's father, Arathorn, the Qué-Shu chieftain, demanded proof of the old gods Riverwind's family believed in. Everyone knew this was an impossible task. But nevertheless, Riverwind accepted the quest and left with an outcast friend called Catchstar, or Catchflea by the Qué-Shu. Without direction, they wandered aimlessly, and while in the Forsaken Mountains, an elven thief named Deanne preyed on them. They gave chase and fell into a secret underground world of the Hest Elves, Sylvanesty from the Age of Dreams. The trio were embroiled in a civil war, and were eventually liberated by the victors that Catchstar trained. Together, the three traveled to Zaxxaroth and discovered it was populated by a black dragon named Cassanth and her minions, including an Ophidian draconian named Thoris and the human cleric Krago, who was trying to perfect draconians. Riverwind defeated Thoris and therein discovered the statue of Mishakal and took the blue crystal staff. Catchstar died in the escape, and when faced with saving Deanne or himself, Riverwind chose Deanne. Upon returning to his tribe with the staff, Riverwind was sick and fevered from his travels and handed the staff to the chieftain. Arathorn demanded the staff present a miracle, and when it didn't, he condemned Riverwind as a blasphemer, to be stoned to death. Goldmoon had waited for Riverwind, and rather than watch her love die, she ran to him as he was being attacked. It was then the blue crystal staff teleported them away. It wasn't long after this that they were met by Sturm Brightblade, who offered to join them in their journey to Solace, and this is where they met the Innfellows and inadvertently became embroiled with the War of the Lands. Goldmoon gave up everything for the love of Riverwind, and Riverwind did the same, though admittedly he had less to sacrifice than she. Riverwind would constantly see Goldmoon as the goddess her tribe elevated to, and one can only imagine the difficulty he had of trying to measure up. He loved her, but he was torn between his culture and his emotions. This would cause friction between the two on more than one occasion as they journeyed back to Zaxxaroth with the Innfellows. Riverwind would nearly die from the Black Dragon Chrysanth and was healed by the staff and by extension Mishakal, ultimately proving that the gods never left Krynn. The two would eventually help rescue the slaves of Pax Tharkaz from the Red Dragon army and introduce Elistan to the Discs of Mishakal. Elistan would become the first priest of Paladine since the Cataclysm and marry the two. Marriage is built on growing together, compromise, and love. It is not easy and requires genuine work. In reality, we can see the truth of this as the challenges of the individual can present roadblocks at best and dead ends at worst for relationships. Riverwind and Goldmoon's marriage was no different. Whether the chieftain would know it in life or not, the entire success of the War of the Lance hinged on Paladine and his partner, Mishakal, providing the opportunity for mortals to realize the truth of their existence and present it to the world. This never would have happened if it weren't for the seemingly doomed love Riverwind and Goldmoon shared. This would have consequences that would echo with their relationship again for years, until the two would ultimately separate from the Innfellows in Calaman. They would return to Abanasinia to rebuild their home of the Qué-Shu and raise their son and twin daughters. By 360 Alt Cataclysm, they had successfully rebuilt their nation and within 20 years were considered the leaders of all tribes in Abanasinia. After the Chaos War, the couple would return to Zaxxaroth to once again find proof of the gods, but this time to no avail. They took the now mundane blue crystal staff and laid it on Tanis Half-Elven's tomb. Riverwind became aware of an illness within himself, and though he shared it with his old friend Caraman, it did not stop him from standing up against the new dragon overlord, Malastrix. He would travel with his daughters to the Kender Nation, trying to convince them to flee Kendermore. He stayed and trained those who refused and helped them defeat an ogre invasion. Riverwind entered Malice's lair with Cron Thistlenot after learning of her attempt at reproducing to destroy her egg. Riverwind was successful, but he paid with his life. Malastrix killed Riverwind, but his spirit remained, thanks to Takesis and the War of Souls. He would contact Goldmoon and share the coming danger with her before they could be reunited in death. Riverwind is the ultimate, strong but silent type of hero. He constantly wrestled with his own self-worth and place in his tribe, even when his tribe was destroyed. He never felt like he deserved the love of Goldmoon, and for some of us, that can be poisonous to yourself and your relationships to not recognize the value you bring, or worse, to actively sabotage yourself because of your perceptions. Riverwind stood for truth, not the easy truth that can be swayed by social norms, but eternal truths of love and personal accountability. As with all of the heroes in Dragonlance, Riverwind stepped up as a truly flawed man to stand in the face of insurmountable odds because it was what needed to be done. The gods of good and neutrality owe him and Goldmoon a boon in their afterlives. Ansalon owes the supposed return of the gods to a man who loved a woman and was willing to walk through the abyss to be with her. I, for one, can appreciate that passion and devotion. And that is all I have to say about Riverwind. I hope you enjoyed the information. Do you enjoy the strong, silent type of characters? Are the Qué-Shu too derivative, or do you appreciate their inclusion in the story? And finally, if you had the opportunity to prove your deeply held beliefs of love, knowing it may cost you your life, would you? Leave a comment below. I'd like to take a moment and remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button. This all goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with Dragonlance Saga, and until next time, remember, if we deny love that is given to us, if we refuse to give love because we fear the pain of loss, then our lives will be empty, our loss greater.